it really upset our whole game plan. You know, it's obviously always to throw the ball to Glenn to open the attack. You know, he'll probably get a few wickets early on, we'll bring on Warney. So all of a sudden we had to think of plan B.
We looked over and there's a bit of a kerfuffle with the Australian side, and Glenn McGrath's on the floor. And I went, hey, what's this? And our coach is saying, don't look over. And I'm like, mate, yeah. And we're all looking, like, talking amongst ourselves, what's going on? And then news filtered back, McGrath stood on the ball, and then they brought this, like, a golf cart out to take him off, and we're sitting wheeled off. And you didn't want anything bad happen to him, but we didn't want it too trivial, he could play. And when news came back, you do want to play against the best side, and you do want to beat the best. However, not that day, because he just bowled us out at Lords, and that gave us a lift, even though we didn't want to show it. I was doing cartwheels inside. I wanted to run around the ground with my shirt off, swinging it round. McGrath's not playing. Going into the fourth day, when we were in front, I suppose we thought we'd won by that stage, and we didn't budget for what happened next.
And the crowd was lined up. There was lines and lines and lines of people outside the ground waiting to get in. So we drove in, whatever time it was in the morning, an hour before the game would start. And we were like, something's going on here. England can get a sniff that they might get a victory. So that put a bit of nerves through the camp, and certainly unearthed us a little bit. The thing that struck me, or the thing that I can remember most from that day, was warming up. And John Buchanan, our coach, had been throwing me balls just to get warmed up, just to try and hit a few balls out of the middle. And I kept missing the ball. I just could not get bat on ball. I remember seeing Ricky Ponting and Michael Clark, all the boys at the back, everyone's laughing their heads off. And I'm thinking, well, I wouldn't be in this bloody situation if you guys actually got in there and knuckled down and got some runs. So I started to smack the ball and try and scare the boys at the back of the net. Bit of fun as well with it. And next thing, I started to get my eye in, and I actually felt pretty good. All of a sudden, it's like the spotlight, a bit like now, the spotlight was right on, myself and Warney. And it was a weird situation. It's a situation that I hadn't really been in before. Yeah, we've been, thrown in to try and save test matches or to try and score winning runs in one days, but this is the Ashes, and this is what it's all about. It was either, win or bust for us, so we obviously wanted to go out there and win. We wanted to bat positively and make these little milestones, and myself and Warney spoke about just getting through that first over, just getting through that first hour, get to drinks, get to that first session, maybe get to lunch. So these things happen whilst we're out there, and after a few fours started to come off the middle of the bat, we try to reassess almost after every single ball. I was in so much pain. I had I think a broken left hand from the first test, or a fracture through the top of my hand. I was getting hit everywhere. My arm was black and blue from Freddie Flintoff working me over.
About 60 to go, there's some of the crowd from Australia all in the nice yellow tops, singing, 69 to go, 68 to go. It was like, I shut up, what's going on? It'll be over in a minute. But as it got closer and closer, I think we had a sense, actually, this is going to go to the wire. It shouldn't, but this is going to go to the wire. And all the hard work we put in for the past 4 days is just going to go unrewarded. And as a bowler, I bowled a lot, and I wasn't getting tired because of the importance of the game, but I was getting faster. My thought processes were getting scrambled. Michael Vaughan was still quite calm as captain. I wasn't, though. I was getting anxious. I was trying to do too much to Brett Lee. We were trying to hit him, we were trying to get him out, we were trying everything, where he just kept coming back at us.
It's probably my most favourite test match I've ever played in, even though that we lost. It was the way that it was played, it was the intensity, it was the crowd. And you have to think too that when you're out there under pressure, you can hear the crowd. So the Barmy Army are all chirpy, they're all singing. You could hear every single comment, about 107 runs to win. All of a sudden we get close, we get down to 50 and 40, and we start to notice and hear the Barmy Army just quieten down a little bit. There was a little group of Australian, I think it was the Fanatics, and they were sitting behind on the right-hand side of the actual scoreboard. And you can start to hear the Aussie accent. and they started to perk up a little bit because we're getting so close. So the game shifted around 40 to 50 runs to win, and that's, I guess, when we felt that sense of belief.
The Australian crowd were getting more confident as they were singing, and the tenseness around the ground, you could feel it, and the tenseness amongst the team was like feeling it more because we was feeling it from the crowd. It wasn't nice. The atmosphere turned from a bit of a party and a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke to proper tense.
Warney was batting both feet in his crease to try and get a bit more, that split second more time to face the ball. The guys reckon he was scared, but I reckon there's more time to try and face the ball. He went back, trod on his stumps. And I remember they just started cheering, and I thought, he hasn't nicked it, he hasn't been bowled, what's happened? Looked around, there was a bail on the ground. I thought, oh no. So my worst fears came to realisation that Warney had been given out. And it was that moment there where I thought, well, we've probably lost the Ashes here. Not only the game, you know, if England get a roll on, if they win this game, so all these emotions can happen in 5 seconds. You try to, it's that little person on your shoulder thinking and saying those things, but you're trying to try and let that happen or take notice of it. But it was that split second where I thought, we're in real strife here.
To stand on his stumps the way he did was a gift, a complete gift. One of the easiest wickets you could get. There was no skill involved from my part, you know, we pinned him back a little bit. But he didn't just like touch him, he stomped on him. And we knew instantly he'd done it. And to see the back of him, we thought that was game over. Shane Warne's back in the up, and Kaspervic is coming out with one.
Hero or zero?
When Casper came in, there was, I think, 50 odd runs to get, and I just said basically, mate, get out of your crease as much as you can. You won't have as much time to see the ball. You might wear a few, but you're playing for this, you know, this emblem here on your pocket, or the, you know, the front part of your shirt. That's the reason why I'm playing. We're playing for Australia here. If you get hit, break a rib, doesn't matter. Guts it out, and he was all for that. And we got through that first period of time, and he was doing really, really well. And I just remember I kept saying to him, watch the ball like a hawk. And that stuck for the next, you know, half an hour, 40 minutes.
He was growing in confidence, and he was becoming a bit of a thorn in our side. From someone who you thought, this fella can't spell bat, he's digging in. And when he started scoring runs, that's when we realised actually there's a problem. It's not just from one end, we can't just give him a single, because Kaspervic is playing all right as well.
I think there was 4 runs to win, and I remember smacking a ball out to point. And if it was either side by half a metre, it probably would have been 4 runs. They later on, after the game had finished, they showed a shot of Ricky Ponting, who jumped up, and the boys jumped up out of their seats, thought that was the winning runs, to jump back down. And you see them all laughing and going, oh, we're so close, type of thing. And then Harmison bowled the ball. I still remember it like it was yesterday, and Casper went up, fended it, sort of off his hip, off his rib. And Grant Jones took a wonderful catch down leg side, and Billy Bowden with his crooked finger put his finger up, and that was that. That was it.
It's in the on the spot. What a rating! The crowd goes ballistic. Michael Kaspervic cannot believe it. England have won by 2 runs. What a test match we have had. What a resistance from Australia. What a test series we have got.
If you look back, it's probably not out. He had his hand off the bat, caught down the leg side. Growing up as a cricketer for Lancashire, I was told that in victory or defeat, you respect the opposition first, then you've got plenty of time to celebrate and do whatever you do.
I feel this big hand come over my back, and it was Freddie. I look up, and he pulled me up, and that's when that moment happened, when he patted me on the back. And he said something on the lines. I still can't remember what he said because it happened so quickly and I was caught up with the emotion, but mate, you almost had us, you almost got us. You know, I thought we were a chance there and all this. And this happened in 10 seconds and I'll see you inside for a beer.
I just went over on one knee and went down and shook his hand. And unbeknown to a lot of people, Steve Armisen had shook his hand first, but that never got picked up on camera. But I just thought it was the right thing to do. I can't remember the words that came out of my mouth. Knowing me, it's not going to be anything particularly profound. I think it was a case of, you know, well played, mate, great effort, didn't deserve to lose, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't anything but just the right thing to do, I thought.
I guess it was the first time in my career that I've lost a lot of games before playing cricket, and that's sport. You know, you win and you lose games, but I guess it was the first time the whole emotion crept in. It was like, we should have won that. You know, we had beaten England with 15 runs to get. We had beaten them. That they were. You know, you look at Michael Vaughan, and he was a shattered unit. He was thinking, how could England stuff this up again? The Aussies fight. You know, had fought back. The whole Aussie spirit. You know, never say die attitude. And we'd somehow gotten that close, and just the look on their face was incredible, and that special moment of great sportsmanship happened with myself and Andrew Flintoff.